very reluctant and hesitant to select a niche because I felt that if I were to do so, that I would cut myself off from other opportunities and money.
Hello, Shanita Jones. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am looking forward to this conversation because I know something about you that probably a lot of other people don't know. We're going to dive into that, okay? But before we do, tell everybody just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I am the founder of Jones Taxes and Financial Services, where we help childcare business owners build scalable, sellable businesses so that they can impact, empower, and educate more children, changing the world one child at a time.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, when you say you're in the childcare accounting world, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your journey to that niche.
Okay.
Right? You said, and I want to get right on this, that it chose you, you didn't choose it. What does that mean?
So I was one of the people that was very resistant, very reluctant and hesitant to select a niche because I felt that if I were to do so, that I would cut myself off from other opportunities and money. But I joined the marketing program, and one of the things we were asked to do was to pick a niche, and I couldn't pick one. So I decided to pick a person. So I listed all of the people that I really enjoyed working with, and I was looking for commonalities, and I discovered that they were all childcare owners. So I helped one person, they told another person, and they all started coming to me, calling me the daycare tax lady. So essentially, they chose me, and I think that's why I also, in turn, gravitated towards them.
Okay, that's awesome, and that is definitely one way to create a niche or a sub niche is by personality, right? The people you like to work with. I love that. Now, what was the hesitancy though in picking a niche? You know, because they say if you're trying to serve anybody or everybody, you're not serving anyone.
So honestly, in retrospect, I know now it was a scarcity mindset. I was afraid that if I only worked with childcare business owners, that the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers wouldn't want to work with me. But honestly, the opposite was true. Other people would hear raving reviews about how well we served our clients, and they would ask, well, I know you work with childcare, but can you help us too? So we were able to still get other clients on the back end. And if they were a good fit for us and we were a good fit for them, we decided to work with them. But we also were able to identify other accountants that were niched as well. So if we weren't the best fit for them, we were able to send them to other people that we knew had the expertise. So it worked out really well.
I like that. I like that a lot. But you're still leaving out one thing that we know that everybody else doesn't know.
Oh, what's that?
You said, I wanted to make more money.
Oh, yes.
You said, I wanted to make more money and I wanted to keep more money. So for all those business owners out there that, you know, are bookkeepers or accounting firm owners, and they want to make more money, but they're still in that generalist mindset, how do they get out of that generalist mindset if they truly want to grow?
Well, I can give you a few reasons why you want to get out of that mindset, and I hope that I help somebody today. The first thing that I discovered was I wanted to make more money and keep more money, and I wanted to do a lot less work during that process. So when I decided to run paid traffic, I realized just looking at the numbers and looking at the audience sizes, my money could not go as far to cover, hey, small business owner, or even, hey, women business owners. I would need so much more money to cover so much ground. So I knew that I had to further segment that down so that I could get a bigger bang for my buck. And that's what I did. It also, another plus to it was we were able to streamline processes more and made it easier to train staff. We didn't necessarily have to have all of our staff have degrees and years of experience because we were able to have repeatable processes to train them on the same things, standardized charts of accounts, life just became a lot easier once we stopped talking to everybody and started speaking to specific people, and they started to hear us as well.
And did that include a difference in pricing?
It did, because now we've managed to position ourselves as experts. It enabled us to become experts. So we didn't start out and say, okay, I'm going to be the childcare CPA expert and you need to pay me premium fees. We didn't do that. We could have probably, but we didn't do that. What happened was we began to have a greater demand for our services because of our expertise. And we were able to add even more value to those that we serve. So we were able to command a higher fee as a result of all of that.
Okay, so you had a triple whammy there, right? You had people coming to
Yeah.
you because of your niche. You had the ability to reduce your expenses because of economies of scale. They were all doing the same thing and became repetitive tasks, right? Which reduces cost, which reduces learning time, which reduces the amount of actual time to do the work. And then you were also able to raise prices.
Yeah.
Well, those are all the things that make companies profitable.
It
All
is.
right, so why did you want to get into paid advertising? You've mentioned that a couple times.
So when I started Jones Taxes, I actually started it as my side hustle. So I had full-time jobs, raised kids, went to college, got degrees, got my CPA license, started out tax only the entire time. But I knew I wanted to escape corporate America someday. And I knew that in order to do that, I needed to replace my salary. Well, the higher I climbed up the corporate ladder, the higher my salary got. So the more difficult it became for me to leave. And I knew that I needed to get the traffic so that I could make the sales and have the profit that I needed to be able to leave my job. And paid advertising was the fastest way for me to do that.
Okay. I like that, because what I heard you say was you didn't have the time to go to networking meetings and grow
Oh,
and meet
God.
people and do it the slow 1990s, we're still in the yellow pages way.
No, you're either going to spend time, money, or a combination of the two if you're trying to grow your business and you're trying to market your business. So I did all the things. I still, they tell everybody, you're in business, optimize your social media profile. I even did direct mail campaigns. I still will do a direct mail campaign from time to time if the wind blows the right way. So I did all of those things, but still none of those things gave me the speed that I wanted. So I turned to paid advertising.
I like that. Look, the most successful companies don't use one media channel. They use everything at their disposal. I once worked with a company in Dallas. They were one of the largest HVAC companies in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I was selling them direct phone calls. And I asked them one day, I said, look, you're everywhere. You're on drive time radio, you're on TV, you're at the Texas Rangers ballpark. I mean, you are literally everywhere. Why do you want, you even have your own SEO guy. Why do you want my leads? And their answer to me was, we want all the leads. We want to suck every available lead out of the market. Okay, I'm your Huckleberry. Let's go.
Yeah, because there are some really good potential clients. They may not be on Facebook. They may not be at BNI. They may not be in all the places that you want to reach. So by limiting yourself to just even one platform, relying too heavily on Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok or wherever you are, you kind of got to spread out, because there's so much coming at people these days, especially since COVID. So they have so much noise surrounding them. And if you want to be heard, you got to be everywhere so that they see you and know that you're real.
Yes, that's a lesson I'm learning. I just joined TikTok last week.
I joined. I don't tick, I don't talk, but I'm there. I'll find you.
Well, I will tell you this. The only reason that I got there was in my mastermind, we had a special speaker on. She was female, all right. She was over 45, and she was selling one of the most difficult things that I know of to sell, and that was life insurance. And she was getting all of her leads off of TikTok. I'm like, whoa, time out. You're telling me that there are people on TikTok listening to you that become leads for your life insurance product? Yes. I'm like, all right, mind blown. I have to go and see what's going on over there. I mean, I don't know about you, but I had this impression it's a bunch of young people doing things.
I thought that at first, but my coaches are starting to yell at me, Shanita, you got to get on TikTok. And I'm going, but I just want to give it a little bit more time to make sure it's going to be there. Because, we get these surges in social platforms. There was the Clubhouse era that by the time they let us Android users on, it was a thing of the past. Remember MySpace? It was the biggest thing ever, and it's gone.
Nobody
Vine,
remembers MySpace.
There were so many other things. So before I make the leap and get heavily invested into a platform, I want to make sure it's there. But I'll at least go, reserve some real estate, park, put my flag down. I'm here. And if I need to speak up a little bit louder, I will. But I'm gonna get on it. But I'm not excited. I gotta be honest. I'm not excited. I don't sing and dance.
I tell you what I'm excited about, and that is YouTube. That's YouTube Shorts.
That's where I'm going.
All right.
Yes.
You may have noticed that I put these interviews on my YouTube channel.
I did.
And I have the long form of the interviews, but I also cut these down into 6, 7, or 8 YouTube Shorts. And I got to tell you, I'm getting quite a bit of traction on the shorts themselves. And the recent changes that YouTube has made in the last less than 30 days is only going to make that bigger and better. I mean, they have now come to the point where they're taking a YouTube short, and when they push that out and somebody watches it, now they're bridging over and recommending that long content.
Cool. Awesome.
It's like,
awesome
okay,
sauce.
So I can get 800 to 1,000 views on this thing that only lasts 30 seconds to a minute, and you're pushing them over to my 55-minute conversation. Good thing. Good job, YouTube. Google and YouTube are the number 1 and 2 search engines.
Absolutely. And that's why YouTube is my choice over TikTok. So.
Yeah. I've already got the content, though. That's the thing. I've already got the content. Let's just put it over there.
Yeah.
It's the same content. All right. So that's how you got to paid advertising. And I like the fact you're still doing the direct mail occasionally, because all marketing works. It's just
if you work it.
Yeah, if you work it, if you have a converting offer, right? If you have a compelling message and you have a hungry target, your marketing will work. Have you found that the childcare arena, from an accounting and bookkeeping standpoint, is a hungry crowd?
They are not. they are not. Most business owners that I've worked with, because I also had a digital agency where we served accountants and helped accountants do the same thing that I do. But that's actually we're not doing that anymore. So I have quite a bit of experience marketing to different industries for accounting services, and most of them are not hungry. And childcare is a little different. They're not hungry. They want what they want.
Or how do you convince them to go to work with you?
The same way I would convince anybody I was trying to sell. I would sell them on the solution and not the problem. I would sell them on the benefits and the outcome. That analogy that all the marketers use, Heaven Island, Hell Island, I would help them see the transformation that they can get and how we can help them give it to them. And my actual little services, that's just the mechanism by which they'll get there.
Okay, beautiful. I read once that the average business that implements a bookkeeping service saves about 16%. Is that something that you find true in that niche?
They may even save more, because they may even save more because they're able to make more as well as able to save more
Okay.
as far as reducing expenses and things. So it could be even higher.
That's a pretty tangible benefit.
It is.
Not that you want to brag about it or anything. You're being very humble. Okay. So when you were in the corporate world and you had this side hustle, was your side hustle bookkeeping or accounting? What were you doing exactly?
For most of the time, it was tax. I did accounting during the day. I didn't want to do accounting at night.
Gotcha.
However, when we would go to do the people's tax returns, our clients started, I say, growing businesses. And by the time they got to us, it was often a mess. They had made mistakes. They weren't prepared for tax season. So again, I didn't choose to offer accounting services. Accounting services calls me to offer them. So I did it out of necessity to help our clients have a better experience.
All right. So when you're saying these things chose you, all you're really saying is you found some opportunity.
Yes, opportunity knocks. And I took it up on this offer and walked through the door. Because I think a lot of people have problems with sales because they are selling what they want to sell and not necessarily what people want to buy. So it was kind of like testing. I didn't know I was gonna do it. My plan was to just have a tax firm, work 3 months a year, and travel the rest of the year. That was my plan and my dream. It was not to do accounting all year long and taxes all year long, but it happened.
It did happen, and we see the tangible results of it above your head there, right?
Oh yes.
I mean, I recognize. I mean, it's a ClickFunnels award for $1 million or more in revenue
Yes.
from a single funnel.
From one funnel, one offer, $1 million. I earned that award in about 16 months. It took me 16 months.
Oh, that's fabulous, just fabulous. So what you're saying is there is money in accounting if you do it right.
If you do it right.
How big is your staff at this point?
Um, let's see. I think there's 7 of us. There's 6 of us or 7 of us. I think there's six
Okay,
of them.
six of you, and just for general conversation to let other people know what's possible. How
Oh,
many?
there's 7.
There's okay. How many clients can you serve with 7 employees or 7 total people?
Oh, you can serve a lot. We haven't maxed out yet. So I would estimate, and it all depends on what you're doing for them, how regularly you're helping them. You could probably comfortably do, and depending on the skill level, you could probably do at least 1,000 tax returns without really breaking a sweat. In as far as like recurring monthly work, you could probably handle, depending on how big or small they are, anywhere from 50 to 100, maybe
Okay,
more.
that's a sizable number.
If you're niche, but if you're out here trying to do job costing and you're trying to do manufacturing and you're trying to do sales tax and all the things, probably not so much so.
Interesting. Okay. So, what would your recommendation be for somebody who's like, they're in bookkeeping, they're a solo accounting firm, and let's say that they're between $8,000 and $10,000. What do you say to them about how do they get to the next level? What do they need to
Eight,
do?
$8,000 and $10,000 of recurring revenue every
Yeah,
month.
yeah.
I would say, first of all, you should go to your existing clients and see if you're meeting every need that they have. And if there's any opportunity to add more value and add more billings to what you have. The next thing that I would encourage you to do at that revenue level is to ask for referrals. Oftentimes we have not because we ask not. And you can ask your client not just for referrals, but also for testimonials so that will help you to get more clients. And then once you've exhausted everything near you, then you can start expanding. Maybe you can go speak to Maybe you can get invited or invite yourself. I will invite myself. Maybe you can be invited to speak to their groups. If they're active in something for their industry, maybe you can offer to share some stuff to help in their industry. You can ask other people to share your stuff. I would not run paid traffic at that revenue level unless I had the cash flow to support it. So a lot of people ask me this every day. What can I do? How can I get more clients?
Mm-hmm.
Another lost art, y'all not gonna believe what I'm gonna say. Blogging. No one blogs anymore. No one cares about SEO and keywords. It is a long hustle, but we still get a lot of hits on our website because we have a blog that's a hidden page on our website. I don't even blog anymore very regularly at all, but a lot of that old stuff, we're still getting hits off of old stuff from the right keywords. So once you do all of that and you're able to increase the revenue, then I would suggest some of these new platforms like the TikToks. Go get on TikTok. Go be active on LinkedIn. Be active on Facebook. Don't just show up when you're ready to get clients. Show up all the time. So that once people can see you, know you, like you, trust you, they'll feel better referring when you do decide that you want to sell them something.
Awesome. What I heard you say, I'm going to rephrase it,
I
is
know
that
I said a lot.
if you're at a certain dollar level and you want to get to the next level, you really have to set up a foundation. And
Yes.
that foundation is not just any one thing. That foundation is your online presence. That foundation is your current relationships, your testimonials, your reviews, and upselling your current clients.
Yeah.
You have to, I mean, look, there's only 3 ways to grow a business, right? Sell more to the people you already have, get more customers, or like increase your prices.
Yeah.
And so it's like all 3 things don't add up linearly, they add up exponentially. And that seems like that's what you have done.
Yes. One thing that we really didn't do as much of as we could have, just to be honest, we didn't just increase prices. So I don't want anybody to go out there and lose their shirts thinking, oh, Shanita said just go increase everybody's rates. No, that's not what we did. We actually developed more ways to help people, and we showed them how we were able to do more for them. And we got our clients to raise their hands, and our clients actually asked us to charge them more. So
Okay, fair point.
there's
Fair point.
very few people that we actually just raise points on. We had one lady just last week. We increased her fee 2.5x, and she thanked us for it. So
Right, but what was the value that you brought to her with that 2.5 point increase?
So she needed more regular meetings. She needed,
Oh, bless you.
thank you. She needed more regular meetings. She needed more interaction with third parties. She needed assistance with strategic planning with some of the additional revenue streams that she's going to build out. She needed tech strategy. And she really just wanted to be able to talk to us more.
All right, so but that increased the value to her, which means you
Yes.
can charge her more. And I think that's the lesson. When I say charge more, I don't mean in a vacuum. You have to charge more by adding more value, and that's the lesson. So if you're not adding value, then you're just raising prices. Well, then you're like the restaurant that keeps going out of business down the street because they just increased the prices.
Yeah. Yes. Because I get this question a lot, or I see some of the thought leaders in our industry and groups, and I feel like sometimes they leave things out. When they tell people, raise your rates immediately, they're leaving things out. And then oftentimes we don't charge enough to begin with. So if you don't charge enough to begin with, then that's a different conversation. That's a conversation. We've been together for a while and we've done these amazing things and we've given you this. And if you were to come in today, this is where you would be. There's a different conversation. So if you want to raise your fees because you want more money, or do you want to raise your fees because they weren't properly charged in the first place? So I'm real careful with my words with people, because when I started and I was trying to get help, a lot of people were giving me a lot of advice, and I didn't always understand what they were saying to me. They just assume that I would get it. So I like to be clear, especially to some of the newer folks. I'm not saying just go around and raise everybody's rates.
Well, okay. I mean, that's a great point, because even though we may be using the same language, the same words, how we interpret those words and the meaning behind those words can be different. And, like some people think marketing means sales, and other people think, well, that has nothing to do with sales, right? Other people say, well, if you do a great job marketing, then my job as a salesman is a lot easier because now they're predisposed to buy from me. And so, yeah, you're right. I mean, that language is important. Now, in terms of pricing, there's a debate that I see all the time, and I don't even understand why it's a debate. You probably know what I'm going to say.
I think I do.
Here it is. Charging by the hour or charging by the project?
Right. So I do believe that there's a time and a place for both pricing methodologies. But I do believe that we're doing ourselves a disservice when we price by the hour. I'm a huge fan of Ron Baker and Hector Garcia. And if you ever hear either one of those guys talk about value pricing, I think the way that you think about billing by the hour will be changed forevermore. I think that charging and even value pricing, some people don't do value pricing as well. We do more, honestly, of a fixed fee price with the element of value pricing built in.
Okay. And what is that subtle difference between fixed fee and value, just for those who are still charging by the hour?
Oh, excuse me. So value pricing is basically you're looking at, and this is my definition, you're basically looking at the value that you're able to provide your client, the benefit that they derive from using your services, and also the things that they avoid by using your services, the unpleasant things. And you're basing your price upon that, and they're paying accordingly. Now, the fixed fee pricing, I may say, I know my base price is this, and I may want to charge additional for other elements involved in working with a particular client. So that's how I might base my fixed fee. Other people, and sometimes we've done it where we've said, okay, everybody, when I made that $55,000 my first 30 days in having a funnel, I just charged everybody the same price. I said, this is McDonald's, this is a menu. You get a number 1, a number 2, or a number 3. And I just stopped thinking about it. And that's what I charged them. No matter how big, no matter how small, that's what I did. And then I actually used that to build my pricing upon. We get so stuck up in pricing, stuck up in our own heads about pricing, that I watch people in groups not send the proposal. And I don't know why we're sending proposals, but they'll not send the proposal to the person, and they won't close the deal because they're waiting for 55 people to come on a comment and for 10 of those people to agree to the same price. And meanwhile, someone else has just flat out said, okay, you want to work with us? This is going to be the price. So money loves speed. And I think we waste and lose a lot of money by thinking too hard. You can always make sure your contract is good, and you can always go up, but you can always go down too. Nobody talks about I overbuild. Oh my goodness. The value that we're giving them is not in line with what they're paying. And I would feel like a better person if I gave them this break. So I like to think outside the box and raise the points that other people don't seem to think about. But an element of that is there have been times when we went back and told a client, you know what, this is what's going on in your business. You misrepresented it. And this is what we think will be fair. Do you agree? Will you sign this new engagement letter? And we asked them to sign off on that as well, even though it's paying us.
Well, they're happy to do so at that point, aren't they?
Yeah, we've also taken services away from people if we realize that their businesses were not doing as well financially, and maybe some of the bells and whistles they didn't need, and they just needed one assignment. Do this one thing, make your business better, and then when you perfect this one thing, then let's go back and add all the other stuff on.
Sure.
Because You can make a lot of money really fast by just charging a lot of money, but I think you can really build wealth by making good money in a good way, adding value and actually caring. So we do a lot of that. My coaches say maybe too much of that. But I just got to be happy when I look in the mirror like, okay, I like her. She's a good person.
Well, coaches, their job is to try to maximize performance, and
Right.
sometimes it's a guide, right? It's a guide. It's not. You have to. It's just a guide. All right. Here's the questions. Ready?
Okay.
What is something most people think is important that I can skip entirely?
Oh, that's a good one.
Thank you.
That is a very good one. What do I tell people to skip entirely? I got to give you an answer because that is a really good question. And I hope you're going to edit this out while I think about it.
How about I insert some
I would say
Jeopardy
a
music?
website. I would say you could entirely skip a website.
Skip the website. What? Why skip the website?
Because I think you need a landing page. You have a specific product or service or offer that you want to make to people, and a lot of times people will not start their business because they're waiting on this website forever and ever, when all you really need is a landing page. Buy my thing, book a call, sign up for my training or whatever it is. So while you're selling and making money to pay for said website, you could forgo the website as long as you have a good place to send them
I would agree with that 1,000%, especially as many accounting and bookkeeping sites as I've seen, and as bad as they are.
to. Yeah, you probably saw mine.
Well, I looked at it, but here's the thing: if you don't have, if we're going to get right back to the beginning of this conversation, if you don't have a market, if you don't have a message, if you don't have an offer, what is your website actually saying?
You know, there is the thought process that your website is like your digital business card, and your business isn't real if you don't have a website. And I do go to look people up to have a website, but if you don't have a market and you don't have anybody to talk to, don't spend your entire website telling us about your dogs and your kids and your hobbies. Tell us about what you were able to do for people. Even if you don't want to say in a particular industry, talk about your client, Jack, and how you helped Jack do this, or how Jack did this amazing thing and you partnered with Jack. And now Jack is, the best thing in the world, where he's still the hero of the story. Talk about your results, talk about what you can do, and these are the services, the tools that you use to get them done. But I would pick a niche. You listen, you don't have to marry these people that you're working with. You can go on a date. You can see other people, but just pick somebody. You got to go to the dance with somebody. You only get 1+1. um, go see them, hang out with them, see if you like them, and if not, you can go see somebody else.
Okay, all of that is true. Everything you said is 100% true. I've been doing this for 14 years, full time. Everything you said is true. Now, we could also add a bunch of conversion elements and, you know, different technical things, but the reality is, and this is the problem I have, is everybody's using social media and email and everything to drive them to one place, and the one place that they're driving them to does nothing to convert them into clients. Like, why? Why are you doing that? You don't. It's like, just use the free Google business website if that's what you're going to do. It's like, anyway, pet peeve. Next question.
Yeah.
What are the biggest struggles that you face today, and how can I or someone else think about those ahead of time?
I would say one of the biggest struggles I face today is probably service delivery, fulfillment, making sure that everything is done on time the right way. And one thing that I would suggest, since I'm talking to accountants and bookkeepers today, one thing I would suggest that we do to avoid that or minimize that is get your SOPs, your standard operating procedures, in order. Get your workflow tool, It doesn't matter if you're using one of the various platforms. People ask me at least 10 times a week, which platform do I suggest? I don't care if you're using the Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet. That can be a workflow system if that's all you have access to right now. And I still use one. I still use a spreadsheet to keep track of things. So I would say make sure you are documenting what you want to happen, that you've done it up front, and also that you're documenting those processes and having people sign off on them and repeat them back to you so that you can make more money faster.
Yeah, if you don't have an SOP, it's pretty hard to teach somebody how to do your process. Or if your process even works.
Yeah, it gets really interesting when you don't have one.
Yeah. Okay, last question. What is something that Shanita believed 5 years ago that you had to unlearn to get where you are now?
I just get one. Let me see. I would honestly say the biggest thing that I had to unlearn was that I had to come up with, and I just learned this, I had to come up with new stuff all the time. That was the biggest lie that I ever told myself. I thought that I had to constantly come up with new content, but I thought it had to say something different. If that message that you've been saying is resonating and your people and your new people are still liking it and benefiting from it, don't stress yourself out. You can't do videos because you don't have a message. You can't launch your website or all of these things because you don't have it. If all you know is assets equal liability, assets plus liabilities equals equity, then you just sing that until the cows come home. To the people tell you they tired of hearing it, you keep singing it.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more. I mean, look, in today's world where things and messages keep flying by so fast, the idea that 100% of your audience has seen 100% of your messages is not true. You could recycle through those messages in a month and people would not have seen them.
Nope.
So yeah, great point. All right, Shanita, this has been fantastic. I love your story. All right, love it. I think there's a lot of information in there for everybody. So where can you be found and who do you serve best?
So you can find me on Facebook hanging out in Accountants Unladdered. It's for accountants that are off the corporate ladder or getting off the corporate ladder and trying to build the firm of their dreams rung by rung. And that's just Accountants Unladdered, 2 words on Facebook.
And who do you serve?
We serve accountants, bookkeepers, tax preparers, and other people also that support the accounting community.
Okay, fantastic. Hey, I really appreciate your participation in this project.